Hi there. Hi, guys. Welcome. Hey, lady. You're on mute. I can't hear you.
Okay, sorry, it's not the morning.
I know. And it's the day after Memorial Day, so.
I mean, that doesn't mean anything though, because I didn't do
True.
shit. I didn't do shit. Okay, so you can make me host and.
So we have a couple of people that are just coming in. Hi, guys. Welcome. Yep, I'm making you host right now. Hold on.
Okay.
Just
And then I can
kidding.
share my screen.
Okay, just kidding. How do I make you host? Okay, never mind. I got it.
I'm not liking this light.
How do I make a host?
Oh, now I'm looking real dark.
Shana, can you test it to see if you can share your screen?
Where's my PowerPoint?
Hi guys, welcome. I see some of you guys are still connected to audio. We're just testing out the connection. We'll be with you guys in just a second. Can everybody hear me? Can you unmute and let me know that you can hear me, please?
Yes.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, yep.
Perfect. All right. Stop sharing for me for a second.
Hello, Shana. Hello, Joelle.
Hey, Nicole, how are you? Hey, young man. What's his name?
Milan.
How are you guys doing in all of this?
Well. We're doing
That's
well.
good. Good. Wonderful. Hello, Matthew. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Miss Shana!
Hello, Matthew, friend.
I see everybody here. E. Ledger, Cat, iPhone. TJ Francis, Susan, welcome. Lady Phenomel. Kim, Caitlin, Ludwig, Kathy, LaShonda, welcome you guys. How's everybody doing?
Awesome.
Great.
Good.
Fine, thank you.
Awesome. So I'm just gonna start real quick. My name is Joelle Fontaine and I am the Assistant Director over at the Fairmont Innovation Lab. And for you guys who don't know what the Fairmont Lab is, we are a co-working space in Uckham's Corner, as well as a resource for small businesses, mainly small businesses in the creative, in the social justice field. We provide a lot of great resources. We do a lot of workshops right now in the midst of COVID-19. We're doing a lot of business advancement workshops around marketing, financing, and a lot of wellness workshops as well. So I'm really, really excited to have Shana today. Shana's a personal friend of mine. And we've been really talking about how we can utilize this time to benefit you guys and to give you guys the resources that you need to be able to cope not just, a lot of people are like, okay, hey, I want to be able to use this time to build up my business, and that's great. If that's what you can do right now. Sometimes people right now, all they can do is cope, and so I'm excited to have Shana here, as she's going to be sharing with us, the tools to be able to organize ourselves better, organize our days better, whether we are entrepreneurs or we're just trying to figure out our time management skills. So I'm really excited to have her here for this. I'm just going to turn it over to Shana. Thank you so much for being here. Are you guys all going to stay? Are you guys all going to block out your videos? Really?
It's okay, because I'm gonna block out their videos anyway. So
perfect. All right. All right.
I'm eating breakfast, so I don't want to embarrass myself.
You're fine. You're fine. But thank you guys for joining us. Take it away, Shana.
So trying to share, Joey. I don't know if I can or not.
You were able to a second ago. Try it again.
Yeah. Let me see.
You should be able to.
All right, I got it. Sorry.
Okay. No worries.
So hello, everyone. Welcome to goal setting during COVID-19. So I just want to first thank, I call it Joelle Fontaine, and the Fairmont Innovation Lab, which I have gone to, and it has been over the last couple of years since she's been involved with it, has definitely helped me over the years to build my business. And so I am looking forward to this 4-week session around goal setting. This is week 1, and we are going to talk about SMART goals and to-do lists. And so we will get started. First, I'm going to share who I am. She shared a little bit about who I am and how we've become friends over the last several years. And so I'm Shana Bryant, founder and CEO of Shana Bryant Consulting. And Shana Bryant Consulting organizes chaos through training, education, and curated experiences. And so I really just like to say that I do execute, plan, strategize dope-ass events for nonprofits as well as small businesses. And so a little bit about my story is that I like to say I went from being a teen mom, working with and supporting my son's extracurricular activities, and then transitioned to being a serial volunteer for almost or over a decade, working with organizations like the Boston NAACP branch, as well as planning a girls' conference for over a decade for middle and high school girls, working with the Boston Spelman Alumni Association. And so for over a decade, I was able to plan other people's events to really hone my project management skills. And in 2018, I found myself being laid off from a job that I loved, and it gave me the opportunity to decide whether or not I was going to go find another job or start to do this thing, which was just really telling people what to do and plan and execute events, and started to do this thing full time. And so I decided that I would jump out there on faith, and as well as know that I had a skill set and a network that would help me to do what I'm doing now. And so 2019 was a full year, my first full year as a full-time entrepreneur. I did 22 events and I had 13 clients. And so we are heading into year 2 and things were going great. And then this pandemic happened. And as you can imagine, one of the first industries to be hit was event planning, because we can no longer congregate, right, and be around each other. So I really had to begin to think about what my pivot was and what I was going to do now that I couldn't do that thing, which was to bring people together for events. And so I began to pivot into figuring out how to plan virtual events, as well as starting to really share this gift that I have about around learning how to execute your goals and be productive, whether it's during a pandemic or before, when I was executing 4 to 6 projects at the same time. And so part of that is when I really learned about SMART goals and learned how to add them and implement them when I am doing something, or use them when I am doing something to make sure it makes sense. And so the first thing, so that's me, Shana. And so we're gonna focus on SMART goals and to-do lists today. And both of these are really important when you're trying to execute a goal, and more in particular, daily, regular, everyday goals. It's really important to try to use both of these when you're thinking about how you're gonna get things done. And so this is just a quote. I am an affirmation quote person, and I think it's really important to understand why goal setting is necessary, and why and how goal setting helps you really execute your goals and your dreams. And so, this quote speaks to that the moment you decide that you have a dream and you create some type of plan that has deadlines, it becomes a goal, right? And so now it's up to you to really pay attention and figure out how you're going to execute those goals in a timely fashion to make sure you're living your dreams, okay? And so I just want to stop there and see if, has anybody in the group heard of SMART goals, or have you used SMART goals before? And if you want to just put a 1 in the chat, I just want to see where we're at as far as have folks heard of SMART goals, and is anybody using them or used them before? And so in the chat, if you just want to put a 1, and that means yes, you have heard of them. And if you haven't, you don't have to put anything. I just want to gauge the group and see where we're at as I'm sharing what they are and how I use them and how you can use them.
Shana,
is the chat off?
Yeah, the chat's off.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're gonna bypass that. I was hoping to engage with folks.
I think that when you're sharing your screen, the chat is off.
No, you can still have the chat on, but I can, if folks wanna, if anybody wants to share their, I think you can do a give a wave. I'm not sure if that function has been turned off as well. If not, I can keep moving. And we'll
hold on a second. Can you guys try now to chat?
No, still disabled.
No, okay. All right, it's fine. We can keep moving. Joey, if you can go in there, I don't know if you can go in the back and change that function while if not, it's fine. We can keep on going. And so SMART goals. So they're an acronym, and they stand for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. And so the first one here, specific, it is really around, is it simple? Is it sensible? Is it significant? Does it really make sense, right? And then the next one is measurable. And so is it meaningful? Is it motivating? Does it make sense to be doing this again? Achievable, is it attainable? Do you really think that you can get this done? And then relevant, is it realistic to the bigger dream, right? Like a SMART goal is a small part of a plan to really execute a big thing. And so is it realistic? Is it results driven? Is it reasonable, right? And then the R stands for time bound. And so is it, do you have the time to do it? Is there, is it time sensitive? The important thing with the SMART goals is that, you can have a goal, but it's not, you don't want to call it a SMART goal if it's something that it's going to take you a year to do, right? And so it really is helping you think about some smaller, specific things that are attainable to the bigger picture. And so I like to say, my example I like to use is if you are trying to buy a home, there are steps that are necessary to actually get to that point, right? And so one of those would be, or a couple of those would be, do you have good credit? Do you have a savings? Do you have a realtor? Do you have an inspector? You know, like all these things, do you have all these components that are gonna be necessary to actually get to that bigger picture? And so what the SMART goals do is it actually helps you break down so that they become smaller, attainable goals leading up to whatever the bigger, larger dream or goal is, okay? And so they, like I said, they really do force you to think about deadlines, so that I know a lot of times as entrepreneurs, and in particular creatives, we have lots of ideas, right? Lots of ideas. And a lot of times at some point, we need to really stop and think about, like, is that idea, one, realistic? Does it make sense to whatever my bigger picture goal is? Does it make sense to what my business plan is? Does it make sense to the strategy that I'm trying to execute, right? Does it make sense to how I want to be seen in the business that I'm providing to others, the services that you're providing to others? And so what SMART goals can do for you is they really can help you break down that bigger thing into smaller, more, again, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. And so I know that some folks may say that as a entrepreneur, our goal really is to dream big. And I am a big dreamer. You know, my goal is to be a millionaire and to help take care of my family and have financial security and so forth. And so this is not to take away from your big dreams, but it is important for you to recognize there are smaller things that need to get done in order for you to execute those bigger things. And it really is important for you to be able to write this stuff down so that it makes sense, because then you can actually create the plan to actually get this stuff done. And so what I want to do is, Joelle sent you all an example of a SMART goal that I created for myself several years ago when I decided or thought that I wanted to create a business. And you also will have a form where you can fill in your SMART goal. And so what I want to do is I want to review that SMART goal, and
Shana,
yep.
real quick, you are now the sole host.
Okay.
So see if you can change the settings for the chat.
I think you have to do it like behind the scenes.
It's usually just on.
Can everyone see the chat? I know,
I can
like
see you. I can see you. Just chatted in, but I can't seem to.
You can't reply?
No.
Okay, it's fine.
Okay.
So I'm going to resume my sharing. It looks like it's not letting me. Let's see. Stop my share. Okay. Here we go. All right. And so this is an example of a SMART goal that I created for myself back in 2016. And so the example here is I first identified the today's date, the target date, when I was going to actually start this, and then the date I was hoping to achieve it. And so these are really important because when you're doing the SMART goal, you want to make sure that you have dates associated with it. When you're creating goals, you want to make sure that you have dates associated. Otherwise, there's no accountability, and you're kind of just doing it, right? And so you can really just get it done whenever. And so it is important to have these dates that really, and that make sense. And so when you're thinking about, is it timely and is it realistic and is it, achievable? All of those three things need to, you need to think about those things when you're putting the date in place. A lot of times because I am somewhat of a procrastinator, I will put dates that force me to, may seem a little bit unrealistic, but they definitely force me to get things done because I have that due date. And I also share those dates in some of my goals. And so that also helps me really hold myself accountable. And so this goal that I had was my initial thought when I when I was going to start a business, it was to become a virtual assistant. And so that was because I was doing, in my day job, I was doing things where I was managing up and had lots of calendar and administrative types skills or responsibilities that I was doing. And so I wanted to be a virtual assistant, and it had a goal setting focus, whatever I was going to be helping the clients with. And so for the specific, what exactly will you accomplish? And so for me, I will have a client that is paying me to accomplish a goal, their goal, right? And to identify whether or not it was measurable. How will you know when you reach this goal? I will be reaching this goal once I'm receiving monthly payments from a client. And so that's how it was measurable. I knew if I was going to get paid for something, they were a client, right? And so I had a business. Deciding whether or not it was achievable, I said, yes, I have the skills and experience to work with a client to identify their goal and vision. I have the time to dedicate to a client, learn how to be an entrepreneur and consultant. I will reach out to a friend who was a virtual assistant. She was starting her own business and had a coach, almost like a coaching system that could help you become a virtual assistant. Search the internet and read how-to guides. I need to create tools to help both my client and myself to stay organized and track progress. I have started taking a business planning course, and I will look for classes for entrepreneurs and will join a community of like-minded individuals. And so this was my way. I literally had to kind of like dig deep and really think about what was happening around me and how was I going to make sure that this was achievable. And so these were some of the actions that I knew I needed to take. And that last part about making sure that they were like-minded individuals around me, because I knew there was no way that I was going to become a successful entrepreneur if I didn't have people who were doing what I wanted to achieve. And so the next thing was, how is this significant to my life? Is this relevant? After having, I had some injuries where they put me on my ass. I was in a boot for almost 2 years. I had moments where I finally realized that what I was doing for free, I knew I could get paid for, and I had built a network to be able to begin to share this gift that I had, which was project management and event planning. And so after my injuries and not being able to volunteer or do community work for over a year, I realized that for the past 10 years, I had been working for free and have skills and experience to get paid. I want to continue to inspire and empower people to be their best selves by living their dreams. I have the dream of consulting from the Caribbean, being the boss, and creating a legacy for my son and family. I love leading, and I'm good at it, and I like telling people what to do. And so for me, it was relevant. It was what I was doing already, and so now it was kind of like, okay, let's make this a business. The next thing is timely. When will you achieve this goal? And I had decided that I would achieve it within another year or so. And so by January 2017. And so the second part of this workshop or this worksheet is really you helping to identify, is this goal important? The benefits of achieving the goal. And then when it comes to the take action, this part is really important when you begin to sit down and fill out the form to really think about the potential obstacles and also what are your solutions for those obstacles. And so I want to review this quickly because life happens. And so one of the obstacles would be this pandemic for us as entrepreneurs as we're executing our goals, right? And so that would be under the category of setbacks. There could be family issues, there could be life issues. For me, even during this pandemic, as I had a master plan of how I was going to execute this, my grandmother passed on April 18th. And so that was a major setback that for me, I couldn't function for it felt like at least a month to really like get back and to execute my plan. And so for me, the solution, what I had to do is I leaned heavily on my support system, and I had to adjust my timeline. So I had the idea of I wanted to be doing workshops, and I wanted to be creating digital products, and I wanted to secure clients to begin to execute virtual events. And I really just had to stop and adjust my timeline, reach out to clients and really just say, I'm struggling right now. I'll see you in a couple of weeks, apologies. And because I did that communication, I haven't lost any clients, and I'm still doing these workshops, and I've just really adjusted. And so when you're thinking about this goal, this SMART goal, it is really important to recognize that life is going to give obstacles, right? Like obstacles are going to happen, and what you have to recognize and be prepared for is to create solutions, right? And so some of these solutions for me is just how I operate, how I do things in life, right? And so creating a vision board, brainstorming, creating timelines, creating deliverables, which are really like those smaller tasks that you need to get done, and create the process of getting to the goal, making sure that I was invoicing my clients, making sure that I had a support system of entrepreneurs. And another thing that I really love to do, and before I was quarantined, I did often, was celebrate my small wins. And so small wins, successes, like today, this is a success. I reached out to Joelle about a month ago and said, I would love to offer my services. Let me know what that will look like. Let's figure out how to get it on your calendar so that you can share it with your network. And so now we're here, right? And so I will definitely make sure that I celebrate this, whether it's sharing with friends or really just acknowledging that I had a goal. I wanted to be doing workshops, and so now I am doing the workshops. The other thing you want to focus on, who are the people around you that you can ask for help. Recognize that nobody can get anything done by themselves. And so if you are not asking for help, you will not be successful, because you are not the smartest person in the world. And if you are trying to learn something new, it will be important to surround yourself with people who have done it before and have more experience than you. And so this is where asking a friend who was a virtual assistant, asking other folks who were already business owners, and really sharing with my cheerleaders who are my family members and friends, and letting them know that this is what I want to do, and making sure that I have that support system to help me get that done. And then here, just thinking about, again, the timelines, what you're doing, breaking down some of those specific tasks, and actually adding due dates to those specific tasks. And so what I did want to do is, for a moment, I want to stop sharing, and I'm wondering if anybody, as I'm talking, or if you've already started to do this, if you want to share a goal that feels like it is a SMART goal, and it is something that you can take the time to fill out that form to help you really get very specific about the goal, and when and how you're going to execute it, and really be thinking about that top half of the SMART goal worksheet, which is to think about the goal as far as the dates. And so the target date, when you're going to start it, and when you want to achieve it. And then if you want to share the actual goal. And so if folks want to take a minute or two to really think about that, and I would love if one or two people could actually share that part of that part of their goal. And so if we want to just take a minute or two, and yeah, I would love one or two people to share. And if you want to just, show your face on the screen, and I can unmute you and you can share. Miranda?
It is trying to get my learn on.
How are you?
I'm doing much better. Thank you guys so much. One, I just want to say thank you for doing this. I wanted to take some time to refresh on SMART goals. As most people know, as an elected official,
They don't know. So I guess you can do a 1 minute, who are you? Everybody doesn't know.
I'm Liz. I ran for office 2 years ago. That was my big goal, and won, and have been an elected official in the State House for 16 months. And I was, before that, a nonprofit leader and a youth worker, and ran a small business on the side. And so for me, it was really important for me to be on this call because I'm really overwhelmed. You know, I'm just getting back to work after COVID hit my family pretty hard. And I am an elected official and running for office again. And, you know, just being a Black girl in Boston is not easy. And so I wanted to share that it's always good to keep learning and getting refreshers. I really liked your sheet, because what I think is the problem with SMART goals is has a really antiquated feel to it, because it mostly was done in sort of corporate settings and very rigid boxes. And so it was, for someone like me, it didn't even make sense to utilize their tools, because I don't like boxes. You know, I like scribbling and circles and color. And so I just want to say thank you for the tool. My SMART goal, what I've been really thinking about is to better serve people in the community who are really struggling right now, is I want to be able to open a district office. And a district office is something that other electeds have done in the past, particularly, you know, Senator Wilkerson and Chuck Turner are two people that are famous for having community offices. The problem is that it takes a lot of raising of money to be able to have a district coordinator and a district office. And I've been having a hard time breaking that down into pieces because of the price tag that's associated with that, and just a fear of asking for money that is holding me back as a major obstacle. Even though I'm where I am because I did do some, it's still something that's uncomfortable. So I just wanted to share that that is a very real goal, regardless of your title, regardless of the sector you're in. Goals are important, and I wanted to be here with you all because I wanted folks to know that, like, this is something that you can really utilize. I thank you for the part of your section about who you're going to ask to help you. I also struggle with asking the same people for help and being fearful of asking people that are sort of out of my lane, I like to call it, or people that I don't have a relationship with. And so if you could talk more about that, that'd be very helpful. Like, how do you ask people for help who don't know you or who you don't have a strong relationship with? Because my friends are all tapped out. They're like, girl, go call somebody else. Go call Tyrone. So I'd love if you could answer those two pieces. Hopefully that was good to offer.
Okay, so ask new people, and what else?
The idea around something like when it's so big, when it's tied to raising a lot of money or capital, how do you break down those steps? Because it seems like my to-do lists are multiple pages, and because of that, I'm not able to get as much done.
Okay, perfect. Does anybody else want to share?
Ms. Shana,
Yes.
it's Matt. I wanted to share that I am attempting, and I've shared this with you, to partner with a group of people. I'm down in Florida, and it's a very special place. It's a strong red state with some very conservative views, but I want to partner with people to open up housing for homeless vets as well as single mothers, and putting a group together that will share the risk of bringing capital. Like Ms. Miranda said, just putting capital together is always a struggle when you're dealing with friends or strangers. And kind of continue to build on that as God willing it grows. So.
Okay, perfect. So thank you both of you for sharing. I'm gonna answer, I wrote the question down and I'm going to answer that at the end, okay? Just thinking about how to ask for help, and when it's a really big ask, what, you know, how do we break that down, particularly when we're asking potentially we need to reach out to new people to ask for help. And so thank you both for sharing. I'm just going to go back to my screen and share that. And so the next thing we're going to talk about is the to-do list, right? And so Liz mentioned, and so we're not going to be able to do this full group activity, but we did do a little bit of you all thinking about that. And my goal really is, you know, when you get off the phone, or as I'm talking, if, you know, if this is prompting you to write some things down, please start to, you know, write that down. And again, because you have this tool, you can, you know, print it out several times and use it. And so definitely be thinking about what that goal is and filling out that paper so that it makes sense for you and whatever that particular goal is. All right. SMART goals then help you think about how to do a to-do list, right? And so for me, it really is important to create these to-do lists because they're like a brain dump, and they are really just your roadmap for the day. Like, what am I going to get done, right? And it really does help you not feel overwhelmed and really just be patient with yourself, right? And so for me, there's a couple of things when you're writing a to-do list. One, it's important to figure out what medium you're going to use to do this to-do list. So is it, are you a person that needs to write it down? Do you need to, you know, do you use something, an electronic version? Do you use a daily planner or a weekly planner? Like where are you gonna write this down, right? But it is important to, and ideally you wanna use something that is similar to a planner where you're writing it. And so, you know, today's list is here and you're gonna flip the page and tomorrow's list. And so something, whether it's a binder, notebook, whatever, something that, you know, it's not just a random loose leaf piece of paper, because then you've got lots of loose leaf piece of paper everywhere. And that is really not going to be very helpful when you're trying to get organized and really execute things. And so I definitely, you want to make sure you're using something where you're writing using to write your to-do list. The next thing is, it's important to create a to-do list every day. And so Rep Miranda mentioned that she's got long to-do list, right? And so you can have one for work, you can have one for personal, you can have one for the business, you can have to-do lists, large to-do lists for everything that's going on in your life, for several different projects and so forth. But then these daily to-do lists are really to help you think about, okay, what do I need to do? If I had six events going on at the same time, which during this time last year I did, I had a to-do list every day based off of, for project 1, I needed to email and prepare for this meeting. For project 2, I needed to check in with my vendors and do a site visit. For project 3, I might have needed to do nothing. Or project 4, I might have needed to update the project plan and look at the budget, right? And so really thinking about, what do I need to do today? And so part of that is you want to make sure that you're either doing these to-do lists in the morning or before you go to bed. I prefer before you go to bed, because what it does is it allows you to brain dump, and you're not, you can get some sleep. And so if you've got lots of things on your mind, and what I need to do tomorrow and what I didn't finish today, going to sleep with all that on your brain doesn't allow you to sleep well, right? And so I encourage you to create your to-do list the day before, the evening before you kind of, you know, check out and do your relax time. And I encourage you to do it before your relax time, not like the last thing you need to do before you go to bed. The next thing is I encourage you not to put no more than 7 things on this list, because you need to make it realistic, right? And so when you're doing that, you want to be thinking about, or what also helps is to do a weekly planner, use your planner or whatever you're going to use, and do a weekly larger, this is what I need to get done, based off of everything. To me is a project. And so based off of everything that you need to get done for that week, you want to review your calendar. You want to look at what meetings you have. You want to look at what you need to get done that week. And then you want to do your weekly planner based off of your calendar and what you're getting done, what you need to get done over the next week, or what meeting or task that you have coming up in the next month or even the next week, and thinking about who's waiting on you to get something done. And so if there's a process that, for example, a client, if they need to be promoting an event, I need to be communicating with my marketing graphic design vendor to make sure that she is doing these flyers so that I can get them to my client, so that I can be prepared for the next meeting and make sure that I've done all my tasks. And so I need to be looking ahead as I'm doing my daily to-do list and as you're creating your weekly to-do list, okay? And I say 7 tasks because even within this pandemic, 7 tasks at times have become too much. And so really thinking about, they can't be large tasks, right? So they can't be, write that 7-page paper. If you haven't done the outline, if you haven't done any research, you can't just start writing a 7-page paper and expect to get it done today. And so thinking about, if you had to write a paper, you obviously would pace yourself. And so maybe today we're gonna work on the outline and get the introduction done, right? And when we think about word count, again, you can't do a 7-page or 10-page paper in one day. And so using that example, you want to think about how you're going to break down those tasks, and you can't get it done in one day, and 7 tasks should not be that full paper. And so really thinking about what are those 7, maybe 7 to 10 important things that you need to get done today that are going to make you feel productive and that are going to be moving your projects along to make sure you're executing whatever the goal that you're trying to get done, and making sure that you have some level of due dates associated with those tasks, because then it becomes to feel more realistic and doable. The next thing is something called Eat the Frog. And so with this, you want to do the thing that you're avoiding first. And so I say first, or I say before lunchtime. And so whatever the first half of your day is, before the first half of your day, you need to get this thing done, right? And so this way you're gonna feel productive. You did something today. You did that big thing that you've been avoiding. And so that is a huge thing that you can check off your to-do list. The next thing is making sure that whatever you didn't get done today, you need to move it to tomorrow's list. And ideally, you want to make sure you get it done by the end of the week. So if it is due date associated, this will, if you're creating your to-do list based off of due dates and what's happening in your calendar and what you need to get done, it will help you, regardless of what you put on that to-do list Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you know that these things need to get done by Friday, or they need, whenever your end of the week is, you really want to try to get those things done, which is why they need to be realistic and they can't be too far-fetched that you know you're not going to get it done. And so your to-do list really is small tasks, okay? Small tasks that that are achievable and that are realistic. And so they are similar to your SMART goals, but now we're going to break the actual to-do list out based off of very specific tasks or deliverables that are associated with a deadline, okay? So I really wanna hit home that the to-do lists are important. You need to do them every day, unless you decide I'm not doing any work today. So even your to-do list could be go food shopping. You're gonna do this laundry. You're going to talk to this friend. You can even create to-do lists for your personal life and for work, business, family. Like you can have multiple to-do lists. And then it just, what can you get done during the day? It's kind of like having the master to-do list that I know I need to get these things done. I know I need to pay this bill today. I know I need to connect with this person today. I know I need to send out this email today. Whatever that is, that's what you want to put on your daily to-do list every day. All right. And so next thing is just a tip. I said this already, but really making sure that you do deadlines. Otherwise, you're just doing, right? You're kind of like scrambling, and you're definitely going to feel like you're all over the place. You're not getting things accomplished, and it's just not going to feel good, right? And so I definitely want you all to make sure that you are adding deadlines, because then you're holding yourself accountable. And if you need to share this with some other folks, if you have a team of people that you're working with, the same way that you're holding other people accountable and expect them to follow the deadlines, you also need to do it for yourself, okay? And so I want to answer some questions. And so one thing that Rep Miranda mentioned, and I'm sure some other people are thinking about it as a business owner as well, like, how do you ask for help? The reality is you just have to ask. So what I've recognized is that you don't realize how many people are watching you, are depending on you, admire you. And so you will be surprised that you will reach out to people and ask them for something, and they will give it because they've actually followed you, right? They know who you are. They are familiar with you. They may be a friend of a friend. And so the other thing is, you can ask friends to introduce you. A thing that I do is recognizing, now that we're in this social media world, pay attention to who likes your stuff, who comments, like, people are paying attention. You don't realize how many people are paying attention, but they are, right? And so, and the worst they can say is no. I think the other thing is, we have a fear of failure or a fear of no. And the reality is, in life, you're going to get more no's than yes anyways. And so it really doesn't matter. You cannot take this stuff personal, but you cannot not ask. So you really have to get out of your head that what if they say no, but rather what if they say yes? And so, if you have a financial goal, or you're trying to raise money, for example, if they say no to 1,000, that doesn't mean that they won't say yes to 250 or 500. And 4 250s make 1,000, and 2 people given 500 make 1,000. And so I think when it comes to asking for help, you really just have to do it. And yes, you may feel like, that immediate circle, you're exhausting, particularly, I know that when I do events and I'm fundraising, I do feel like that immediate circle I exhaust. But last year, in October, I did a girls' conference, and 2 weeks before the girls' conference, who had committed to giving the food or sponsoring for the food, it did not come through. And so I literally, 2 weeks before the conference, went through almost every person in my phone, and I sent a text, and I said, I need to raise $2,500 for lunch. It was for a very specific ask. I needed to raise $2,500 to feed 100 girls and 100 parents, and I need it by this date. Can you help? And lo and behold, people came out of and these were people that were in my cell phone that I do not communicate with on a regular basis, but I know they're watching. I know they are for community and of community. And the people who came out with $500, $250, and $1,000 donations, I never would have expected it, but it would not have happened if I didn't ask, right? And so you have to ask. you have to get uncomfortable. And I love, leaning into uncomfortable means that amazing things are happening. And so honestly, the worst thing you can do is not ask, because most of the time people are not going to give if you don't ask. Most of the time people are not going to just offer to support you, offer to guide you, if you don't ask. And so it is definitely important to make sure that you're asking. And so I want to stop here. And are there any other questions? I want to make sure that I'm able to answer you all's questions. Do you all, any other questions that you have around what you just
Good afternoon,
heard?
Ms. Bryant. My name is Susan, and I go by SP.
Hi,
Thank you for hosting us. I appreciate your time, especially with the recent loss of your loved one, and that just shows your Black girl magic and your resilience. So I appreciate
Oh,
that.
thank you.
I'm working on being more intentional this year. And one of the things I've been thinking about, because I take a lot of notes, is vision board planning. And I wanted to know if you have ever done that, or I was looking up different items, but I just wanted to get your insight on that. And then another thing, for our people who are looking for capital, I pivoted my management consulting business as an independent contractor to specifically help Black, Brown, and Indigenous people find funding. I'm good at that research. And one person I met from Connecticut online after webinar, she applied and she got it within 24 hours. So we can build, and I'm really about helping people find capital, specifically grants, not loans. It's okay to ask for help.
Okay, so thank you, SP. I would love if we could maybe afterwards, if you can share your information and I can share that with folks. And so when it comes to vision boards, I actually do vision board. I do vision board parties. I believe in vision boards. I think that they are a tool that really does help you manifest your hopes, your dreams, your goals. And I'm big. I'm an advocate for visuals, for affirmations, for all of that good stuff. And so I highly encourage. I actually did a vision board party maybe 6 weeks ago. I did a virtual vision board party, and it really was just to bring folks together to really be thinking about, now that we were in a pandemic, if they had not done a vision board already, to do one, and then two, to be thinking about how do they need to reevaluate, what were the goals, are they the same, and if they needed to do any type of adjusting, what that looks like. But yes, I believe in vision boards. I have a vision board. I also believe in something called your wildest dreams. And so I've actually started to do, it's similar to a vision board party, but instead of vision board in specific, it's really your wildest dreams and thinking even bigger, right? And so for me, who's the ideal client that I would love within the next year? And it helps you then work backwards to what are the steps that you need to think about to get there, as well as that is similar to the vision board. What are the steps that I need to do to actually buy that home, vacation, or work from the Caribbean, to get that ideal client, to be a millionaire? What are the actual steps that I need to be doing to get there? And a vision board can either be very specific, or it can be, the big goal, and it helps you, at least you have a visual manifestation of what you want to accomplish in life. And so SP, yes, they are necessary. I think everybody should be doing them. You can either do them for the year, you can do them smaller, and they can be every quarter, because now that I'm an entrepreneur, I think about things in quarters and what I can really execute and get done every quarter that is leading up to that larger goal. So I hope that was helpful. Does anybody else have any questions?
Hi, my name is Danita.
Hi, Danita.
Hi. So I've I tried to start a vision. I'm one of those people that gets started and then doesn't know where to go after once I get started. I either have too much going on, or I don't know, I don't know where to start. And I just want to know how to zoom in on what I need to be doing. It's like I'm looking at too big of a picture, maybe. I don't know.
So this is where I think the SMART goals will be helpful. Is it realistic, right? Like, is it too big? That means it may not be realistic, right? And so, can you just give me an example of something? Something.
Okay, so this is what I am about to retire from Boston Public Schools.
Okay.
I don't have an exact date when I'll retire yet. I was trying to be around and be helpful during this pandemic. I was supposed to, definitely this was going to be my last year, but when this happened, I didn't put the paperwork in because I just wanted to be available.
Okay.
So I've been doing yoga, children's yoga training. And my hope is that I could be a children's yoga teacher and an SEL facilitator for educators.
Okay, and so those are two goals. I would say SEL, does that require any training or certifications?
Yes.
So that's the first goal.
Mm-hmm.
You need to, whether it's research, how you can sign up for those trainings, when you're going to sign up for those trainings, and you need to put a due date associated with it.
So I did start, but I guess then my homework would be to find out what the qualifications are, like what someone would be looking for, because I did a training last year.
Okay.
Winter, and then I did a similar smaller training. I just finished. It was online.
Okay, and so I would say the next thing is who are you going to serve, and you need to let them know that you want to serve them.
Okay.
And then you need to start serving them.
Yes, I already spoke it out loud, and the principal of my school said, all right, get started. Let's put you on the schedule. So I did. I spoke it out loud. I did it today, as a matter of fact.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
And
then for the yoga, again, I think it's the same similar process. Do you need to do any training, certifications?
I just finished that too.
Okay, so then it sounds to me like you've done the front end, and now you need to actually just do it, right? And so I think we also get caught up in like, how many people can I serve? I want to serve a lot of people. And the reality is, if you're doing something new for the first time, you're not going to serve a lot of people to begin with. But you've got to build momentum. And as you continue to build momentum, your following will increase. And so for the girls' conference, I had a goal. When I did a girls' conference for the first time, we might have had 60 girls. And then we increased it to 100. And so I think we sometimes can get discouraged with the numbers and who's paying attention and who's responding. And we can't. It's similar to the no's and the yeses. Right. You can't get caught up in the no's. It's almost like the no's are the people who didn't show up or the people who didn't know. And at this point, they don't matter. Sometimes people are just following. They're waiting for somebody else to do it. They want to hear how it went. And so, but that can't stop you from offering it. That can't stop you from doing it. So I would say you have to do it. You already have that connections with the schools. And so to me, it feels like just offer a session, right? And whoever shows up. And, you're going to have to do it virtual now, which allows you to really just hone in on that skill. But at the end of the day, you really just have to do it.
Yes. So can I tell you that my teenage daughters went to your girls, and also someone I know, they posted it on Facebook that or she sent me. Anyway, I donated because someone I know knows you. And so yes, I agree. I believe in that because I didn't know who you were, but because I trusted her, I donated.
Well, thank you, Danita. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. We're going to do a virtual one for October. So it is almost time to wrap up. What I wanted to do is we are, this is a 4-week. And so 4-week session. And so next week, we will be working on daily and weekly routines, June 2nd. And then the following week, we will be working on creating a accountability community. And then the last week, we will be working on prioritizing your schedule to help you really get things done. And so I want to, again, thank Joelle and the Fairmont Innovation Lab for allowing me to host this workshop. And I want to thank you all for joining me for this workshop and sharing, asking questions. And I want to also encourage you to follow me, email me, ask for help. I am, now that we are in this virtual stage, one of my goals for this second year was to begin to offer virtual products, services, workshops, master classes, as well as coaching. And so I am beginning to put all of that in place, and would love to hear from you. If this was helpful, I would love if you could shout me out on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and I hope that you share it with a friend and maybe sign up for next week. All right. And so, Joelle, I don't know if you're still on. I think you're going to have to end it. Oh, no, you made me a host, so maybe it's me that can end it. But again, I want to just say thank you to everyone who joined us.
How do I get the phone?
Say it again.
I'm sorry, honey. I wasn't talking to you. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So yes, Joelle, you want to close out with anything?
No, I just wanted to say thank you. I thought this was awesome. You know, I'm in the middle of completely changing my business model, and I've been used to using SMART goals all of my life, but this was definitely a great refresher, and it was very beneficial all the way around. And I'm just looking forward to next Tuesday.
All right, perfect. So I will see you all next Tuesday.
Thank you, Shana.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'll be here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, Shana.
Bye. Joey, you got to end it.
Thank you very much. It was excellent.